And we are live. Well, good afternoon, Facebook community, especially those who follow me on Conversations with Influencers. Alejandro Tornato here, coming directly from Beaufort, Georgia. And if you've been following my page, my group, and my postings, you know that today it's a brand new episode of Conversations with Influencers. We are live, and it's a great privilege for me. I my desire is always, to bring to you and to introduce you to great influencers, great thinkers, people who are definitely making a difference, making a positive difference in the world and in the lives of many people. And today there's no exception to that. I'm so happy to have with me as my special guest Mr. Jesse Cruz, and I want to bring him together, with me. Hello, Jesse. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's so great to see you. So great to be able, to have this conversation with you. And for those of you who do not know, today we are going to be talking about, I truly believe, a very essential and crucial subject, which is uh, it's in the form of a question, and I want to ask all of you who are watching us live or who will get the recording, the video later. um, are you really paying attention to your dash? Are you paying attention to your dash? And if you don't know what I'm referring to when I'm saying, are you paying attention to your dash? If you don't know what your dash is, well, stick with us, because today you will definitely find out what your dash is all about. And with Jesse, we are going to be talking about 8 powerful steps for achieving a fulfilling and a successful life. Now, Jesse Cruz is an author. He's a published author, best-selling author. And the book that he's already written, and everybody, can get, through all the book resellers and Amazon, is Leave Your Dash. Leave Your Dash. And not only he's an author, but he's a speaker. He loves to share his message with as many people as he possibly can. He's also an Iraq War veteran. And thank you so very much, Jesse, for serving this country. So proudly, and for your service. And he's also engaged with the community, with youth. Jesse is the program coordinator of the Wayne County Youth Advocate Programs Incorporated. He lives, with his wife and children in the East Coast, in Rochester, New York, upstate New York. And Jesse, it's great. It's a delight to have you as my guest in Conversations with Influencers.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's absolutely fantastic. And tell us a little bit about you. What prompts you to write a book about Leave Your Dash? What was it that inspire you? What did you want to share with people?
Well, what inspired for me to write this book was nothing, because I can't even really take the credit. You know what I mean? It was my life experiences and people I've encountered and situations that I've been in that have inspired it. But first and foremost, what inspired it was my daughter. My wife and I had a daughter born premature back in 2017. And watching her fight for her life every single day, not sure if she was going to make it. It was an emotional roller coaster, so it was up and down constantly. I watched her die and then come back to life multiple times. And then after 42 days of fighting, she finally passed away. And I used this book to carry on her legacy of what I learned through that experience in life. And I hope that people can take the time to read this book and understand that if I can take something so tragic as losing a child and use it to inspire people all over the world, then anybody else can do it too.
You know, um, it's amazing. I heard, what you just said, and and it's so incredible that for some people, um, going through an experience so heart wrenching as losing a loved one and losing losing a precious life. Like a daughter. Just being born, and then beginning to fight for her life, and then going through that experience. That same experience can crash and can debilitate and can just be so adverse to some people, and yet to others like yourself, uh, even though you went through a lot of turmoil and pain, but that experience has given you the strength and the ability to take it and to perhaps put those experiences in a book in order to help thousands upon thousands of other people who have gone through that experience or who may go through that experience. And then through your writing and through this book, they may get some hope, and they may get the knowing that they can continue living and making a difference.
Exactly. You got it right.
And it's great that that happened. Definitely, with you, and that you were able, to turn, is just turning something that is very negative and dark and difficult into something that is absolutely is the birth of something new and something really great. It's fantastic that you had the ability. You wrote. So when was that book published?
It was published last year.
Okay, it was published last year. And then I know that you also speak, to groups and to organizations. Do you speak based on that book? The experiences that you have. Is that pretty much? The subject that you want to share, the message that you want to share with other people.
Yeah, so when I go and speak, I basically just share my life story on things that I've gone through from my childhood up until currently. And so I just like to be transparent and honest about my struggles, my challenges, my trauma, and create an environment that's safe for everyone to talk about their hurts, because everybody's hurting in some way. Just
Mhm.
some people haven't had the courage to talk about it. And so I haven't had the courage to talk about it until recently. And
Mhm.
so I want to be able to inspire others to say, you know what, I'm hurting. It's okay that I'm hurting. But now that I'm able to talk about it, I can begin the healing process.
Excellent. And then, of course, for those of you watching, leave your dash is, if you ever, and I'm sure that at one point in your life, you stepped into a cemetery and you want, you see, the people's tombs there, you are going to see two dates. There is a date where the person was born, and then there is a date on where that particular person actually passed on and died. And those two dates are like the book ends, okay, the beginning and the end. But and most people, they concentrate or they pay attention to those dates. And they said, well, I mean, that person was born on such and such a date and he died on such and such a date. Well, perhaps, I mean, that person died very young, or that person had a fuller life. I mean, it died very, very old. I mean, and it had a great life. And so those are the focus of attention of most people. The first bookend and the second bookend. But Jesse, why don't you share with us the most important thing in that kind of an equation is not the date at the beginning or the date at the end, but is that small dash in between, because that small dash represents what that person has or has not done during the course of his or her life. And that, I believe, is what really, truly matters in a person's life.
Yeah, I'd say for me, it's that dash in the middle, although it's a small part of the tombstone, it makes up the quality of your life, you know, and to live a purposeful dash is to understand why you're here. We all have gifts and talents and skills and abilities. And when you take the time to tap into those things and you use them and you develop them and you grow them and you share them, then you can live your dash. Then you will find your purpose and you will understand the meaning and the reason why you're here. Because we all have something to share with the world. And when you don't share it, you don't feel that purpose. So, you know, the dash is much about just understanding what you're good at, what you're gifted at. And the book breaks down the 8 different areas of our lives that we all encounter on a daily basis and what to do with those 8 areas to live a purposeful dash.
Now, you're saying that the book consists of those 8 areas. Now, are those 8 areas are those exhaustive, or there could be more areas, or you just simplified a person's life in those 8 areas that you are expounding on the book?
I would say that at almost any given time, a person who's going through, whether it's a traumatic event, interpersonal problems in their relationships, a struggle, a challenge, whatever the case may be,
Mm.
it falls into one of those 8 areas almost always. So to me, I could say that there could be some more, but to me, if you're very intentional about these 8 areas and you understand them and you work on those 8 areas, not to say that your problems will not exist, but you'll be able to identify what area in your life needs to be taken more seriously and worked on more aggressively to get yourself out of that challenge and to be successful on the other side.
Excellent. Yes. So what? Let's. I mean, if you don't mind, let's talk about those 8 areas, and I'm sure that people are going to be resonating and connecting with those areas. So. And I believe that all those areas. I mean, if I am correct, I mean, you can correct me if I'm not. But all of these areas begin with the letter F. Is that correct? I
That
mean,
is correct.
okay. So let's go through the list, which perhaps, I mean, is not in any particular order. Is that I mean, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we could. Yeah, I can start anywhere, but that's
E-
fine.
Excellent. So why don't we start with the first area? I mean, that you think is really uh, important.
Well, I will say that this one is extremely important, so I usually like to start here, and that is the area of focus. You know, and when I
Okay.
talk about focus, I'm talking about what your thoughts are, because your thoughts guide your entire life. What you think about is what you do. What you think about become your attitudes, your beliefs, your actions, your motivations. For anything that you do in life is stemming back to the way you're thinking and processing things in your mind. So for me, once you have your focus in the right direction, you can go down the right path. So whether you're thinking negative thoughts, you're most likely going to have a negative outcome. If you're having positive thoughts, you most likely have a positive outcome. So it all starts with how you think.
I mean, as you were saying this, it comes to mind something that I heard. Napoleon Hill, I mean, the author of the great book, I mean, Think and Grow Rich, and he said, whatever the mind can think and conceive, the mind can achieve. And I think that is to have really a very a laser sharp focus on the things that you want to do in your life. I mean, it's not a matter of, well, I mean, if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't happen, okay, next time, let's try again. But it's just, I mean, people who really um, achieve something in life, people who have a goal and they want to get it done, whatever it is because they have, first of all, they have a sharp and undivided and undistracted focus in what they want to do, and their thinking is single-handed, directed, I mean, towards the things that they want to achieve. So I believe, I mean, like you're saying, that if you don't have focus, I guess you don't know which direction you're going to go, and it's like a ship with no rudder. It's just the wind blows in whatever direction and that ship goes anywhere, but it doesn't have a destination to arrive at.
Exactly.
So that is so focus is your thoughts, is your thinking, is the way that you use your mind to really get. And another thing, I mean, that I heard is, and I'm sure that you heard it the same way, is that whatever you see in the world has been created twice. First, in the mind of the person who created it, and then it became a reality. But first, it was part of their thought, of their thinking, the process. And then, as that person concentrated that frequency of thought, then it became a reality. So I think that focus is extremely important. So what would be the second F, or the second area?
Fitness. And
Oh,
this is extremely important for so many reasons, but I'll just stick with a couple here. Is that any dream you might have, any goal you may set, anything you want to achieve in life is going to take you to be able to physically do it. Some goals are not as physically demanding as others, but all of them require your body. You cannot do it without your body. So your body needs to be physically capable and strong enough and healthy enough to carry out the mission that we all been called to do. Some missions require more than others, but they all require our effort and our energy. So we need to be, mindful of the things that we put into our body and into our mind, because those are the things that come out of our mind and out of our body. And the second half of the fitness part is that when I talk about fitness, people think only about going to a gym or working out or eating well, sleeping, and exercising. And those are all things that are very important. But the other aspect of fitness is the mental fitness, to exercise your mind. It's not just enough to think. It's to think intentionally. It's like thinking at another level. It's purposefully thinking. To be fitness with your mind is to challenge your brain, and to, whether that's read a book or go to a class, attend a seminar, go to a conference, learn a new skill. You must be sharpening your mind and your body to keep them in sync, to carry out this plan for your dash.
I tell you, I mean, we could spend just on this area of fitness, Jesse. I think that we can spend hours, if not days, talking about that, because I can tell you, I heard some of my mentors, I mean, say that why is when they're given a presentation and they're talking about personal growth, or they're talking about leadership, or they're talking about intentionality, or whatever the topic is, they bring into one of the categories to pay attention to is health, or is fitness. um, and the reason is that, listen, if you want to make an impact in the world, you cannot be an impactful person who is dead. A dead, impactful person doesn't make any more impact. So you have to be alive. You have to be healthy. You have to be strong. You have to be someone who is able to uh, do and perform everything that is required of you. And if you are ill, if you are sick, if you're dead, I mean, you cannot actually fulfill that. So fitness is extremely important. And like you said, not only physical fitness, but mental fitness. And isn't it amazing, Jesse, that when we discovered and when we talk about perhaps our brain, um, uh, the fact that it is a very, I mean, the neuroplasticity of the brain, the fact that the brain can keep learning. It doesn't matter how old you are, but you can keep exercising the brain. You can keep doing things, like you said, reading books, learning a new language, going to seminars, taking a course on something that you don't know. I mean, just trying to keep building neural connections and new connections in the brain, because the brain is plastic. The brain is not static. The brain is always ready to keep adding and learning and doing new things. And that is what I believe, that is what keeps us young. That is what keeps us ready for any new challenges that may come. If you keep your body healthy, and if you keep your mind healthy, that is a great thing. So I think that fitness fits in anything that a person want to do. I think that you have to bring in this aspect of fitness into the picture. So what is a third area for living your dash in a purposeful manner?
Finances.
Okay, okay. And when we're talking about finances, are we talking about um, preparing ourselves, I mean, for retirement, I mean, or saving during our life span? I mean, what specifically are you concentrating, I mean, on this area of finances?
So I mean, I cover a variety of things in the book, but I'll mention a couple here. Is first of all, is being financially responsible. So if you're financially responsible, meaning you're managing your finances, whether that's saving effectively, budgeting, investing, giving, and spending all appropriately, and if you're doing those things, you're going to have the freedom, the financial freedom to finance the dream that you may have, because you may have the greatest dream in the world, but if you're covered in debt and you have all these loans and then you can't pay anything off and you're living paycheck to paycheck and you can't keep any money in your account, then the dream that you're desiring to have can become a burden, because it becomes financial stress instead of a financial blessing. So the importance of financial stability and financial education is that when you're pursuing this dream, it's not typically going to be something that's done for free. It's something you have to make an investment of time and financial resources to make it available to the masses in this world. So being financially responsible is huge, and what you put your money into reveals what's in your heart. So where you put your money, it's completely tied to your heart and who you are as a person. So you got to be conscious of where that money is going, because part of you goes with that money because you are invested into something. You've traded time and hours to gain that money. And then once you release that money, part of you goes with that money. So you need to make sure you're putting it into purposeful locations.
Now, is this also tied into the concept of the fact that very successful people in the world are those who have made a decision to invest in themselves as well? I mean, it's just your personal investment in yourself that also helps you to keep moving forward to your desired goal.
Absolutely. You have to be willing to invest into yourself, because that's going to be one of the greatest investments you can ever make. Because the more you invest into yourself, the better you'll be able to be with the rest of your relationships in life, the better you'll be able to be in your career, in any other area of your life. When you're taking the time to grow and take that financial leap to better yourself,
Mm.
everyone around you is going to benefit.
Sure, definitely. Yeah, I truly agree. I mean with that. So what is the next area?
So the next area after that is fun. And this is one of the more challenging ones, because adults forget about this. Kids never forget about this. Kids will always have fun. It's when you get a little bit older and you start paying these bills and you have these responsibilities and you got to go to this job and you got to do this and you got to do that, and the packed schedule and the overcommitment. People forget to have fun. And to me, that's a lost art. When you become an adult, you forget to have fun. You forget to enjoy life. And to me, you need to be intentional with scheduling times to have fun. It needs to be a daily thing, because a person who's having fun is always better to be around than someone who's not.
Now, hold your horses. Why are you making this? And I know what you're saying, but I just want you to explain it a little bit. Why is it better to be around a person who has fun as opposed to? Are you saying that a person who is not enjoying himself or herself and having fun is a person who's most likely living a very miserable kind of life?
So what I'm saying is that you can be the best businessman in the world, or greatest athlete, or actor, musician, whatever you do, author, speaker, no matter what the profession is, and you can excel at it and you can be great at it. But if you're not enjoying it, why are you even doing it? You know what I mean? Because that dream was put in you for a reason. It wasn't put in for you to look at it as a chore. It was looking for you as a responsibility. But with that responsibility, you should enjoy it, because if you're enjoying the gifts that you've been given, then other people around you can enjoy that gift and they can enjoy you. So I think when you're having fun, you're not going to be, like you said, you're not going to be miserable because you're enjoying it. And I think we're too often caught up in maybe pursuing the awards and the status and just getting the job done, that we forget to slow down and reflect, and we forget to take the moment and just be thankful and express the gratitude for the opportunity we've been given.
Sure.
And when you're thankful and you're full of gratitude, you're most likely having a lot more fun than someone who's just focused on the task. And the tasks are very important to complete, but they should be enjoyed. Sometimes they're not going to be as enjoyable as others. I get that, but at the same time, a person who is having fun and loves what they do is going to be a person who excels beyond their wildest dreams.
That's exactly right. If we love what we do, then what we do is definitely not work. Is this is I mean is not that you are looking at your watch to see, I mean, is it 5 o'clock already? I mean to go home. No, because when you are immersed in what you do and when you love what you do, really, when what you do is not a job, but it is your passion, it is your purpose, it is the reason that you got up from the bed that morning. um, when that is what you're doing, then definitely, I mean, it's not is not work. I mean, it's just fun. And you're doing it, and you want to add value to others because you are having fun yourself doing it. So yeah, I mean, you said it. I mean, kids never forget about the area of fun and enjoying fun, as opposed to you become an adult and then you're just living. I mean, you just don't do as kids. I mean, you don't ask questions. I mean, you tend to be just by yourself. I mean, you don't have fun. You don't enjoy life to the fullest because you think that that's not what adults do. But we have to remember. We have to remember to keep that. I mean, to schedule times to have fun and to live life to the fullest. I mean, that is very important. So the next area, what is that?
So after that area, I have touched on the importance of friendship.
Friendships. Okay. So when it comes to friendships, I think is yes, I remember a statement or a quote by Jim Rohn. I mean, who says, I mean, that we are the average of the five people that we spend most of our time with. Um, and so when it comes to the area of friendships or to our associations or the people that are part of perhaps our inner circle, do we have to, in your opinion, do we have to really pay a lot of attention because those people can elevate us or they can bring us down?
Yeah, so I mean, anytime you have any friend, that's an important relationship, and in those relationships, they're going to influence you to do one of two things. So either they can guide you into a direction that's going to be, helpful, or they can guide you in a direction that'll be destructive. And so that's why I'm very intentional about the people I choose to call my friend, because they have so much influence in our lives without us realizing it. So we need to be very cautious on who we call a friend.
Is just, yes, I mean, not just going out into the street and finding the first person and then becoming a friend to, I mean, to them. I mean, is I think that a friendship is developing a trustworthiness with people. Is that right?
I couldn't hear you, cut out on the last part. Could you repeat that?
Yes, it's friendships. It's just developing, I mean, trustworthiness with people.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge part of it, because if you don't have that part of the relationship, then you don't really have a solid foundation to build upon.
Sure, definitely, yes. And so, what is the next area?
Family.
Family, family, yes. And what can we say about family? Now, what about someone? Are you talking about building your own family? I mean, getting married and or just, I mean, the family. Perhaps, I mean, someone who's single is just your immediate family. Is that right?
So I mean, in the book, I make mention of both because it's important. Our family board us whether good or us for our lives. We set a great example, a poor example, or no example. Um, we do what we do based on what we were um, made aware of and what we experienced at a young age, and we've made decisions based on what our parents did or did not do, and other family members as well. And when you your own family, you know, and you have a spouse and you have children, you have to make a decision. Am I going to take the things from my family of origin and carry them into my current family, or am I going to leave them behind? So you have to pick which ones you're going to bring with you and which ones you're going to leave behind, because that's gonna be the deciding factor on the success of the family you're trying to form.
Okay. So, of course, I mean, during the course of a person's life, you have developed, I mean, different habits, and some are good habits, okay? Some are not that good. And what you're saying is that when you form a new family of your own, then just bring in the habits that are worth bringing because they're going to help you. But the other ones, I mean, just be careful. I mean, don't bring those habits that could make a new relationship not a very good one. Is that, I mean, we have to separate, I mean, the good habits from the bad habits, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's that's great. So we've covered then focus, fitness, finances, fun, friendships, and family. And so what would be the next one?
The next one would be forgiveness.
Forgiveness. And I guess that when we're talking about forgiveness, is not just forgiving another person, but sometimes, I mean, self forgiveness. Is that right, Jesse?
Well, yeah. So I mean, I touch on in the book, but it's knowing that we are forgiven. To know ultimately that we're forgiven, and to forgive ourselves for the things that we've done wrong to other people. Because no matter what, no matter how great we think we are, we've all hurt somebody. We've all done something wrong. We've all done the wrong thing at some point. We've hurt somebody's feelings. We've hurt somebody. And so it's being bold enough to forgive yourself and understand that you are human. You're going to mess up countless times. And being, humble enough to apologize and ask for that forgiveness and to receive it. And then having the wisdom to also know that we need to forgive others, even if they never apologize. Because the moment you're able to forgive somebody is the moment you become free. And when you don't forgive, the pain that they cause you ruins your life forever.
Hmm.
So for me, what I've realized is that if I want to be free from pain and suffering and bitterness from my past, the quicker I forgive, the quicker I can move on and become the best version of me.
Now, when it comes about forgiveness, I've talked to some people. I would say, I mean, a year or so ago, and can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, Now I was talking, I mean, to someone about a year ago, and the conversation of forgiveness came about, and so this person was saying, okay, um, I I can I'm going to forgive, but I don't think that I'm going to forget about what someone has done to me. Now, what is your perspective on forgiving but not forgetting?
Man, that is a great question. That is phenomenal how you put that together. I will say this that um, so there's been people in my life who've done something wrong to me, and I've forgiven them. And some people will say that to completely forgive, you also need to forget. Um, I don't know if that's 100% true, but I can also subscribe to that belief. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. I will say this, that there's people that I've forgiven what they've done to me, but I still remember it. But I think that the forgiveness part of this, that they did something wrong, they hurt me, I forgive them. I still remember it, but when I think about it now, I'm not mad anymore. Or when I think about it now, I don't treat them differently because of what they did to me. That's what the forgiving is. I can still remember the pain that you caused me, but I don't treat you differently because of that pain. I
I
treat you as if I treated you before you inflicted the pain on me. I treat you that way. Still remembering what you did to me, but I don't treat you as if you're the person who wounded me and you caused me this pain. I don't look at you like that anymore.
That's right, because it's very difficult. I mean, when somebody did something to you, or you did something to somebody else, um, I mean, forgiveness is an act, is a determination, and you're saying, okay, I forgive you, but it's very difficult, or even perhaps impossible, to erase your memory of what happened. I mean, you will always remember what happened, because that's part of your life, is part of your history. But is, like you said, what is your response to that once you made the determination to forgive someone? Then you just don't treat them with a kind of a malice of thought that you had before forgiveness took place.
Yeah, and I would even take it one step further. It's like, so there's people who've hurt me, and I've forgiven them. But I would take it one step further, is that when someone hurts you and then you decide to forgive them, you actually wish them well. You actually hope for you genuinely and sincerely want them to succeed and win a life. And if you don't sincerely want them to win and succeed a life and to do well, you haven't truly forgiven them.
I see. So that could be. Are you saying that that could be a test that we can give to ourselves? I mean, to make sure that the forgiveness has been real.
Yeah, because if someone hurts you and you say, "Oh, I forgive you," right? And then something bad happens to that person and you kind of get happy about it, even 1% happy about it, you haven't forgiven them.
That's right. Yeah, that's that. I mean, that's something that we need to keep in mind. And so then we covered the seven. So what would be the last area that you covered?
And this last area is what, for me, holds all of them together. It's the reason why the book was written, and that is faith.
Faith. Okay. And I know that from I mean, from your bio, that you are currently, even though, I mean, before we went live, I mean, you briefly explained to me that you are putting that on a temporary hold right now, but you are involved in doing a master's in theology. At what is that? I mean, Colgate Rochester Crozer Divinity School. Now, of course, I mean, after reading your bio, and you know that you are dedicating your life, I mean, to, I mean, writing, um, and speaking about your life, and that you're doing a master's in theology. So faith is something that is at the core of who you are, and it plays a very strong and important part of your life. So why are you saying that faith is like the glue that holds everything, all the other areas together?
Oh, well, faith is believing what you can't see, and I spent my whole life struggling through school. You know what I mean? I was diagnosed with a learning disability as far as being able to read and understand writing and processing. So to me, it took faith to take a student who really wasn't supposed to graduate high school. You know, my teacher said that college is not an option, and then I
Mm.
graduated college with honors, and then I wasn't even able to comprehend reading very well to being an author. I mean, that took faith to being able to know that no matter what, that God's still going to be there for me, even though I'm had the worst day of my entire life. That takes faith. For my daughter to pass away, and for me to do something to honor her and to not go completely insane myself, that took faith. To write a book, that took faith. To do this interview, it took faith because I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. I didn't know what's going to happen, but I had to have enough faith to just try it and believe that the best is going to happen. So I think everything that we do requires some degree of faith because we don't ultimately know the exact outcome with 100% certainty in anything that we do.
So, uh, having heard what you just said, then can you say that perhaps a person who always takes risks in order to enhance their experience, their life, in order to take them to a higher place or to a better place. Now, are you saying that perhaps, I mean, that person who's a risk taker is a person who has a stronger level of faith than somebody else who is not taking risks?
Well, I will say this. I'll say that someone who takes risks, it's not always faith. You can take a risk and have no faith involved. You could just be, being foolish and careless and reckless with your risky decisions. So not every risk is faith based.
Okay.
But I will say that when you have faith, you are more empowered and courageous to take risks because you know that it's not all in your power and in your abilities. I believe writing this book was not all just because of Jesse Cruz. It's because my faith in God helped me write it. So it's not all on me. So that takes the pressure off me because I have this everlasting love and support to help me when I feel like I have nothing left to give.
Hmm. Hmm. I see. So, can you have faith in the wrong thing?
Absolutely. I spent most of my life doing that. Faith in just me. It's all me. Faith in people, even good people, let you down. Even the greatest person on earth will let you down at one point or another. So that to me, yeah, you can have faith in all kinds of wrong things. I spent most of my life doing that. It never worked out.
And how did it happen? Since, I mean, you said you spent most of your life. So and now I would imagine, for just listening to you, that you have. Uh, I mean, you are a strong believer, and you have that level of faith. When did that change happen in your life? I mean, was that the result of what happened with your daughter, or was that prior to that? That something else kind of shook your life. I mean, and 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 um, and that, I would say, that door of opportunity, I mean, to begin thinking beyond yourself came to you.
So, I mean, I made that decision to follow God before my daughter was born. So it was years prior.
Mm.
Greatest decision of my life, and I love my wife and I love my kids. But the greatest decision ever was to follow God because He's the one that prepares me for all those relationships. He's the one that guides me to be a better husband, to be a better father, to be a better writer, a human being, a man. Whatever my role is, the more I'm connected with Him, the more I'm connected with everybody else. Because I'm living my dash the purposeful way that He designed. Because my plan was to never become an author or speaker. That wasn't the plan. That wasn't my design, but that was God's plan and God's design. So I
Mm.
had to follow that plan. And God knows best. It's kind of like, Father knowing best. They know best. So I had to follow that plan.
So what did you want to do before this change came to you? I mean, what was your purpose? I mean, what did you want to accomplish?
Before I became an author.
Yes.
I mean, so growing up as a kid, I had dreams of being, a famous athlete or a famous musician. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
That's what I felt like that was going to be my path in life. But you know, that's not how it turned out, and I'm okay with that because I found my purpose and I found my calling, and I'm completely content with what I've been given. And I just believe that God is calling me to do it at a greater level, to reach more people, and to give Him all the credit and all the glory because it's not about me. It's about Him. It's about the people. It's about helping people just to get from one place to the next. And I hope this book and this interview and anytime I'm speaking in my daughter's life can reflect His love because I went through the worst tragedy of my entire life. And if I had no faith in God, I would not be alive today.
Hmm. I tell you, I mean, that's a powerful statement. That is indeed a powerful statement. So, Jesse, just to begin wrapping up this conversation, and what an impactful and powerful conversation that was. I mean, going through these eight areas of life that we need definitely, I mean, to pay much more attention to. Um, what I normally do is I ask all of my guests a couple of questions just to finalize this. And the first one is, what is your definition of success?
My definition of success is being 1% better. That's it. I think people, they try to look at the famous people, the celebrities, the wealthy people, and they think they got to be like them. But you weren't called to be like them. At the end of our lives, we're not going to be asked about why weren't you more like this person? Why weren't you more like your brother or your dad or your uncle? No one's going to ask you. They're going to ask you, why weren't you more like you? Why? What did you do with what I gave you? I entrusted you with these gifts and talents and abilities. What did you do to develop them? So for me, success is developing the gifts that we've been given and looking to get 1% better each day.
That's, I mean, you know, um, I am a speaker, coach, and trainer. I mean, through the John Maxwell team, and every time that I hear John talk about the importance of compounding, and it's I mean, for us, for each one of us, if we want to pursue a life of achievement. We don't have to achieve uh, incredible success at once, but we have to be consistent. And what you just said is be today just 1% better than you were yesterday, and tomorrow be 1%. So don't try to be today 1,000% better than yesterday. No, 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 because so, that may be unrealistic. I mean, to do that, but just 1%. And when you look at 1%, it's not that much. But when you consistently compound that 1% over a lifetime, yes, I bet you. I mean, Jesse, by the end of your life, I mean, you've accomplished. I mean, and you conquered. I don't know how much. So, so just being a 1%er a day better, I think that it makes all the difference. And the second question that I have for you is, in the light of what we just discussed and talked, and knowing the importance of that dash in between those two dates, I mean, that important dash is, what is it for you to live a limitless life? I mean, for Jesse Cruz, I mean, what do you think living a limitless life is all about?
I think living a limitless life is to discover the real freedom of all the things that we talked about. And with that being said, is that to live a limitless life is that you're living within your gifting. You're pursuing the passion. You're turning your pain into your purpose. You're turning in your setbacks for a setup for a comeback. You're turning all these things that may have were supposed to derail you, to hold you back, and you take them and you do something with them, or they'll do something to you. If you don't do something with it, it'll do something to you. And to live a limitless life is to create a legacy that will pass on not only to your children, but to your grandchildren and great grandchildren. So I try to make decisions every single day that are going to affect and impact my unborn grandchildren. That's how I try to think. My children are young, so they don't have children. But I try to think about my decisions that I'm making. How is this going to impact my grandchildren who are not even born yet? And then when I move on from this world, that I created and left that's going to outlive. So to live a is to pass along something that is going to live longer than me. And that's what I hope everyone does. To find that one special gift or that one special relationship that you can turn around and change and you can impact for generations long after you're gone.
Excellent. Yes, that is definitely not only. I mean, um, living a limitless life. I mean, that life of freedom, but is thinking intentionally, very intentionally, about the legacy that we are leaving, even to unborn generations. Yet, I mean, is to just think above and beyond ourselves. I mean, is to put our minds ahead, just to see how the actions that we take today are going to be impacting those unborn children years ahead of us. But I tell you one thing. I mean, it's amazing how everything is so relative, because it's just speaking with you and spending almost an hour with you. It seemed like it was only 5 minutes.
Definitely.
Eh?
Yeah, definitely did.
That's exactly right. And I'm truly privileged. I'm truly thankful that you were willing, I mean, to do this, and to really share this very powerful message, because not everybody knows it. And I think that the people they need to begin to implement these areas, and to really pay attention to them, and to begin living them to the fullest of their abilities. So thank you so much, Jesse, for your time. I know that time is valuable, but thank you so very much. I mean, for taking the time, I mean, to be here with me, and to share this with as many people as we possibly can reach. So for all of you, I mean, if you watch us live, if not, get the recording later, because this is something that you need to hear, and you need to begin doing it. Okay. And as I always remind you, when I finish all of my broadcasts, to live every moment, to be resilient, and also to be kind, to be passionate, to really leave your dash with incredible vigor and vitality, because this is our time to make a difference, and let's use that dash to really do it. So thank you, Jesse. Until the next time that we meet in Conversations with Influencers, you guys and girls have a great rest of the day. Take care and be well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.